Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sunday. Today is June 22nd. It is currently, 3:46. I don't know what the heck is going on with this. It says 5:46. Gotta change that. But anyways, today was a little change of pace, a little change of plans, I guess. Did originally have planned in the morning to train a client, but she's going down on like a sickness or something, so haven't trained her for the past 2 days. So hopefully next weekend we can get back to action. But yeah, I pretty much received the text around like 5 a.m. again, and then decided to go back to bed for like an hour or so, and pretty much woke up, had breakfast, chilled for a bit. Then I did go over, take a long trip to Costco. It was war today in there because, yeah, for those of you that don't know, Costco on a Sunday is the worst idea that you can have. Honestly, it's terrible. People are everywhere. People are so slow. They're like taking up so much space, or yeah, it's just hectic. You already know how tight the spaces are at Costco because they have stuff everywhere and people everywhere. It doesn't help. But pretty much got a few things there, and then I did have a client today, but obviously it was in the afternoon. We trained at around 1:30 today, 1:30 to 2:30. Went pretty well. He's learning pretty fast. Right now we're kind of teaching him really the basics, the squat and, the bench, etc. But he is like a tennis player, so we're trying to really mobilize him, trying to strengthen his core, strengthen his hips especially, and really get a lot more mobility in his knees. So that's why we're really doing like deep squats right now and a lot of like hip mobility work. But anyways, so that went pretty well. Just pretty much got back from that, and right now just pretty much gonna chill for the rest of the day. Not much going on. I am recording this vlog a little late obviously, but haven't done much today, so that's pretty much why. But today we're just gonna we're gonna keep the trend going. So we did back exercises, leg exercises, and chest exercises. So today we're gonna go over arm exercises. So 3 of my favorite arm exercises that I enjoy doing and that have helped me progress over 5 years now. But at number 1, I'll probably say your basic preacher machine curl. So pretty much the most basic machine that almost every single gym has, any kind of preacher curl. So that's the one with the pad that is kind of pointed downwards, and you have your elbows pretty much there to against the pads, and you're just curling. So obviously there's a lot of variations when it comes to like different brands, but any brand is really, it's kind of hard to mess up a curl machine, honestly. So that's why they're all pretty good. But some of my favorite ones are like those hammer strength ones, because those are really smooth and they're pretty heavy, honestly. But it's not so much why I like it because it's so simple and straightforward. It's the fact that there's a lot of angle adjustment that you can do. So like personally I like to apply more chest pressure on the pad and really like move my ass back and really isolate the arms. And apart from this, I like to adjust my arm placement a little differently. So obviously, you want to keep the handle right about right here where I have my fingers. But what I like to do is not necessarily grip it normally like a dumbbell or anything. I like to just barely like have it in my palm, and I like to like pretty much keep it like this, so your thumbs out. And I like to apply more pressure on this part on the way up, meaning through the concentric. And that way, for some reason, for me, it allows me to get a better contraction. So the good thing is that you can just play around with your hand positioning, the distance between your arms, the positioning there. You can move the seat around. You really can't go wrong with it. Like there's a lot of adjustability and finding where you get the best contraction, and there is a lot of weight to go through as well. Like I'm pretty sure it goes all the way to like 200 sometimes. So it's really good and it's really simple, and there's always one open, which is the good thing. But moving on to number 2, and this is a tricep exercise. and this is a basic tricep cable push down. Like this is a bread and butter in my opinion. You really can't go wrong with this one. Like obviously there is a lot of incorrectness that goes into it. Like a lot of people tend to go really egotistic with this, meaning they like to just overload the weight as heavy as possible and just hammer them out as fast as possible. But me personally, I like to keep it very strict, but not necessarily light either. I like to keep it strict, but I like to go as heavy as I can. And the stricter you are, the more you'll be able to feel it in the muscle, obviously. But obviously there is a lot of fun that should always be involved, meaning like you should always be a little loose and not necessarily be like a robot trying to be like perfect in every single way for all your reps at least. So that's why, you know, sometimes you can get a little loose, and towards the end as you're fatiguing, you can speed up your reps or, you know, etc. But a tricep pushdown is really good. I've done a lot of videos of me doing this movement, so if you guys were wondering, you guys can go back to some of those and see it. But anyways, another arm movement, we'll just go with another tricep movement, just because biceps, like there's only so much that you can do with biceps, and really triceps in my opinion are arguably the more important part of the arm. So the triceps is what sticks out, that's what adds the most girth to your arm. So that's why personally I like triceps more, and I think they're more important. But obviously they're both important, but triceps in my opinion are a little more. But the last movement is any kind of over the head movement. So whether it's a skull crusher or a single arm cable tricep extension, whatever it is, this is a really important movement because it hits another side of your tricep. So, and it also feels differently. If you've ever tried, like pushing down, you know, only does so much. That mainly hits the biggest head of the tricep, but as you creep up above your head, it hits another layer of it, which you should always try to target your arms in different variations. This goes for any muscle group. So whether it's chest, your legs, you should try to hit it in different ways. So I'll give a great example. So obviously this is one example, the arms for your triceps, and like a chest, for example. You know, an incline, in my opinion, is always the bread and butter. That's what I enjoy doing the most. But that doesn't mean I'm not hitting the other parts of the chest, because obviously you have your lower chest and you have the medial. So you should always have some sort of flat press, whatever it is, in your routine on a weekly basis. Obviously you can, such as myself, prioritize a certain part depending on your weaknesses and, you know, where you are in your progress, or really your preference. But you should always try to target each part. So you're not just gonna hit a bunch of incline and not do any kind of decline movements, or like the medial part for it. That's why it's important to include those different forms of exercises. So it would be pretty much like me only doing hip thrust and hamstring curls. Like you're not getting anywhere with that. Like you need to hit your quads, and you need to hit it in certain ways. So that's why, you know, including things like a quad extension, and then like a hack squat, you know, maybe some single leg, what are those called? Not Romanian deadlifts, split squats, there you go. So single leg split squats, you know, those things are killer. So there's different ways of hitting a muscle. So that's why I always try to preach, like, just try different things and find what works for you. You know, ultimately that's the only way you're gonna really dial down on your progress. But so I did enough talking already, enough rambling, enough yapping, so we'll leave it there. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share if possible, and please follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and have a great rest of your day.